Black Talk Radio Network is made possible in part with help from the Black Talk Media Project, a North Carolina-based nonprofit engaged in the production and distribution of independent digital black media. Find out more by going to blacktalkradionetwork.com or blacktalkmediaproject.org and look for the menu tab, Crowdfunding Black Media. Black Talk Media Project, helping to provide you with new black media for the new millennium. And opinions expressed by callers, guests, and hosts do not necessarily reflect those of the Black Talk Radio Network and Black Talk Media Project. Black Talk Radio is new black media for the new millennium.
Well, hello. Welcome, everybody, to Blacks in Business Radio. Today, which is November 9th, 2017, we're doing a live show today. And the show is entitled, Your Health Should Be Your Wealth. As you know, we come to you every Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, where we talk to you about the latest and greatest information on entrepreneurs in our community. And today is no excuse. We're doing that with two guests. Our first one is calling himself the Minister of Wellness, Mr. Nathaniel Jordan. And he's going to join us and talk to us about wellness and health. He's going to tell us his story on like what his journey has been. I know, of course, there's like always this fad with people trying to, quote, get healthy. And this is why we're doing this show today, because we need to really be money. You know, I don't really know if they have money or not. I don't know. I don't do those logistical researches or whatever. You know, we see a lot of people on Facebook. We see a lot of famous speakers on YouTube and, you know, just in social media in general. We see a lot of people who claim to have wealth. But we have to ask, do they really have wealth, especially if you look at them? Majority of the time, we can say no. Majority of the time, they're eating all of the things that they shouldn't be eating, which for generations has killed people. And I'm well aware that people always say that their grandmother ate pig or hog or bacon, their grandfather drank 10 Cokes a day. You know, people tend to make these generalizations about the health of their ancestors and apply it to themselves, which is kind of ridiculous. Because, yeah, you may have some of the same genetics, but we're in a different time, and you cannot say how that particular food is going to affect you. But I can guarantee you that it's doing something crazy to you that you just don't see. And a lot of times we have a problem because we can't really see the effects of what's going on the outside. But I think if you really, really do a diagnostic on how you're feeling and your joints creaking and, you know, gas that you're having and bad breath and just all these different things, if you really, really tune into that stuff, you'll see that your diet is affecting your life. And I want to also, of course, introduce my co-host. Brother Robert, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. How's my sound?
How's your sound? Your sound is great. We hear you loud and clear.
Okay, good.
All right. So we are talking about your health being your wealth today, and of course, we spin all things into entrepreneurialism. These two guests that we have on today have made health and wellness an entrepreneurial endeavor. The first one, like I was talking before about the Minister of Wellness, Brother Nathaniel Jordan, he will be introducing himself to us. And then we also have, excuse me, Brother Gregory Brown out of Maryland, who is representing the Land of KUSH. That is a vegetarian vegan establishment out in Baltimore. I hope to be able to visit them one day. And Brother Nathaniel, he's out of St. Louis. He actually came and visited us the other day. And so it's so crazy to me how just every year, just like clockwork, just like the holidays, just like everything on the calendar, people are making these resolutions and pseudo goals that they really don't meet because they just tend to slip back into what is convenient, which is the refined sugar, the processed foods, the fast food, and all that. It's understandable, but you have to have a disciplined mind to do these things. And I was actually listening to one of Brother Nathaniel's YouTube videos today, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so good. Like, I didn't listen to his stuff before, even like while I was booking him. I mean, I was thinking, who is this person? What are they talking about? You know, because I'm always suspicious. Like, if somebody says that they're into health and wellness, a lot of times they're still into milk. They're still into cheese. They're talking about dairy and yogurt and all these things that just are not good for us. You know, they're still conditioned to, you know, what some would call the SAD diet, the standard American diet. But Brother Nathaniel is not that at all. He is totally into what is healthy for our bodies. And I mean, of course, I'm going to let him talk about it more. But I mean, I was just very impressed to know not only is he really into health and wellness, he's also, I think he's a power lifter. He is trained his mom to be a power lifter before. I guess she couldn't even get up or walk or something. Again, he'll talk about that. But I'm just very excited to know that we have somebody right in our community that is able to lead people into a better direction for their lives, and also you know, in a godly way, because he goes off of biblical principles. The video I was watching today, he was talking about gluttony. You know, we tend to forget that, you know, a lot of things that are foundational for us do come from the Bible, whether you believe the Bible or not. A lot of times these principles that we stand on have been tweaked or modified from a biblical scripture. But he was talking about gluttony and how gluttony is a sin, and how often do we supersize it? I mean, we know we shouldn't be supersizing it. We shouldn't even be there at all. But, you know, the world has made it more convenient for you to supersize it and get super fat and get super sick and get on medicine. And that's what we really, really have to look at. You know, do you really have portion control? Do you know how much you should be eating? What are you doing to change your lifestyle? You know, and do you remember, are you looking at the fact that your children and your grandchildren are watching you? They're watching you put things in your mouth. They're eating what you're cooking. And so therefore, they have the potential to be the future of whatever it is that you're doing. So just like financial wealth, when we talk about getting ourselves together financially, how about physical wealth? What are you promoting for physical wealth for the future generation? I still see a lot of overweight children around here, and they still call it baby fat. They still are calling women thick. They are still making names for things that shouldn't. What'd you say? Uh-oh.
Who are you talking to?
I thought you said something. But they are still making little cute names for things that could be clearly contribute to obesity and being overweight. I mean, it's just so easy to be overweight these days, because 9 times out of 10, when you go in the grocery store, you are heading towards some processed food. you're heading towards something that is boxed, canned, I don't know, sugared down. I mean, just all these different ingredients. I mean, I must say that I am proud to see more people label reading, but it just doesn't end there, people. We have to continue to do research about what it is that we're putting in our bodies. Even these things that people consider to be organic or vegan or whatever, meatless, let's just go away from something that even that's saying that it looks like meat. Your goal is to get away from meat. Those things are not good for you. I mean, for the most part, they just are not. But what I'm going to do is, because it is 7-11, I'm quite sure that Brother Nathaniel Jordan is there, and we want to definitely invite him on. Do we have you on the line, Brother Nathaniel?
Yes, ma'am. Sister Cece, can you hear me?
Absolutely. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Good. We also have Brother Robert here, too.
Hey, Robert, how are you, my brother?
I'm doing great, brother. And yourself?
I'm blessed. Honored to be on the show with you all this evening.
We're honored to have you on the show, brother.
Okay, so let's get started. So I was getting myself together for the last couple of days. I'm like, oh, we have the Minister of Wellness on the show. Like, you can really see what I'm doing through the internet. But I have my lavender tea. I have my lavender tea, and I was like, oh, do I need to do a detox before he comes on the show? Because I have to totally have my mind right, because this is a subject that is near and dear to my heart. And it all started about 3.5 years ago. I mean, it's kind of a long story, but basically my mother was here in St. Louis, and they diagnosed her with stage 4 cancer. I mean, bam, just like that, And at that time, I didn't know too much of anything. I knew some things were not good, but I also knew that I needed to do more research. And so, unfortunately, at that time, I didn't even know the things that I know now, and I know that I'm not the most high and I can't control all things, but, you can't help but reflect and say, man, now I know about this, The good thing is she did not do the chemotherapy. The bad thing is that she still had some mental things taking her in another direction. I did get her off of all things processed, so that was a good thing. But I'm just thankful that I'm in a position now that I'm more in the knowledge and understanding of what is going on and what we should be doing for ourselves. So without further ado, Brother Nathaniel, tell us who you are.
Yeah, so I grew up here, in St. Louis, Missouri. And I went to Sumner High School for a couple years, and then I graduated from Roosevelt High School in South City, St. Louis. My father was a very strong black man, a real father. So he pretty much told me when I was 18 that either I was going to work 80 hours a week and pay him rent to stay at home, or I had to get out. So I went to the Marines when I was just 18 years old. I did that for 4 years, and then I came out of there and immediately went on to the racist St. Louis City Police Department, and I did that for 7 years. It was during my time on the police department that I got up to 260 pounds, 30% body fat, and I had high blood pressure and high triglycerides, which is a broken down form of fat in the bloodstream, which is a sign of heart disease, and really high blood pressure is heart disease also. I don't know why they separate the two. They weren't really the same thing. All the men in my family died from strokes and heart attacks. The men in my family don't live long. They call it the Jordan curse.
They got a name for it.
Right. That's how debilitated. My father's gone, 8 strokes at the age of 66. He's dead. All of his brothers are gone. He had 4 other brothers. They all gone except one and he had like 10 strokes, and he'd been in a nursing home since he was in his 50s, and he's in his 60s, but for some reason he's still around in this condition. So I started doing some research and started losing weight. When I was in the Marine Corps, I was a boxer, so I started fighting again because I knew that boxing workout is a tremendous way to lose a lot of weight. And so, and I started training again, and I did. I started losing a lot of weight. Still wasn't internally healthy. The heart disease wasn't gone. And then I came across a book called about a rich white doctor named Joel Furman, and the book it confirmed everything that I knew concerning that I felt deep inside of me there's something wrong with the food. Now, when I read his book and started reading his other work, what bothered me and what led me to become the man I am today is that it was hardly any success stories, from our people. And that bothered me. I'm like, well, why is it only a very few, so of course, and I'm sorry, I applied the methods and I reversed heart disease in like 40 days. Easily. Oh, wow. When I started eating a plant-rich diet, it went away easily. But again, it was only very scattering of a few, of our people's success stories. And then period, as I just continue to learn all of this knowledge, just not a lot of that information, coming from us, for us. And we are by far the sickest, population, which of course I believe is, by design, so I left the, police department. The criminal justice system is evil. The only industry I believe that's more evil than the criminal justice system is the food and medical industries. But they're close behind. But the food and medical industry is, you can take, the most racist police officer on the face of the planet and times him by 1 million, and he still won't match the wickedness of the person sitting on the top of the Monsantos and Merck pharmaceuticals. They don't compare to them. So I started, got certified as a Huff Coach strength trainer. Then started Ministry of Wellness Inc. As a nonprofit. I'm a nonprofit organization. And I love to use the term that Brother Umar Johnson uses a lot, unapologetically black, unapologetically serving, trying to expose the genocide, the intentional genocide being committed against our people, and giving us the knowledge we need, so that I want more success stories. I want to help other people, and I've had. Just in my, I don't consider myself, I've been health coaching people for about, 6 years, and I've been doing it full time for not too long, but I've still, even in my short time, I've seen great success stories in a short period of time. And I'm excited about seeing millions more.
I can tell that you have made this your passion. Now, I was watching your YouTube videos. I think I saw about 3 today, and it was just one of them things I could turn on and keep doing what I needed to do, which is the best kind of learning for me, because that means I'm multitasking, but I'm also taking in things the way that I learn, which is, auditory learning. It's great. So good job on those videos. Keep on making them. But you were talking about your children. You said you have 2 boys, and they have not been exposed to sugar or salt. Tell us about that.
Yes, so I wanted to give my sons the ability to maximize intelligence and health, that I didn't get growing up, and that most children don't get. Parents are poisoning their children even before they're born. What we eat can determine the health of our children. So as I've came into the knowledge, I've, just had a determination that I would give them optimal health so that they can not have to, go through years and years of the detoxing that I would have to go through to guarantee, that I don't, get cancer or anything. But I want to make sure that they're more fit and stronger. So kids, they're products of their environments. If you see a 3-year-old, that's 100 pounds, which, does exist now, especially in our communities. I see them when I take my sons to school, operating in a state of deep ignorance. And then you have a lot of parents that don't want to change even when you give them the knowledge, because they don't want to change because they're addicted to the foods like autism. Autism is reversible. There's already thousands of success stories out there where parents went on ahead and did what they needed to do to reverse the autism. But unfortunately, reversing autism takes a very strict plant-rich regimen, and the parent has to lead by. So, I lead by example, and by me leading by example and them seeing a strong male presence, and I have no doubt that as they grow older, especially when I start taking them with me to see me compete in powerlifting competitions and see me win and see how strong I am, that they'll want to follow in, daddy's footsteps.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, I think that that's very important. And I was talking before about how, of course, we know that we should teach our children to be entrepreneurs and do things for themselves and create wealth, create generational wealth. But what about creating physical and health wealth? What about that? Not too many people think about that. And I think one of the biggest issues is everybody's on the go. Everybody's in this fast pace to where they have to grab something. And they haven't even really given themselves the time to learn. It's not that there's not time to learn, because everybody's on social media. So you can take in the information if you want to take it in. But people haven't taken in the information. Therefore, they're still going to McDonald's. And they think that they're making, quote, healthier choices. But I beg to differ. I don't think, these things that they're calling healthier choices are healthy. For instance, they'll have, the yogurts. People still think yogurt is okay, but yogurt is dairy. And people just don't still understand that dairy is not okay for you, And I don't know when they created, I meant to do some research on this, but I didn't. When they actually created the slogan, milk, it does a body good. I mean, everybody is still hooked on that. They still think that milk does a body good when the milk does the opposite. It does a body bad. It's cow mucus, it's cow pus, and it's full of hormones and all kind of disgusting things. I mean, when I think of mucus, when I think of cow mucus, I think about blowing my nose and having to drink it through a straw.
Right. Yeah.
That's mucus.
Right. Yeah. These industries are wicked. I mean, they intentionally suppress information to keep people in the dark. And most of our people spend too much time. We watch too much TV, and we getting all of this fake information and fake knowledge, from our oppressors, and so we're kept in a state of darkness. So it's a lack of knowledge, like the scriptures say, we're destroyed for a lack of knowledge, and like you said, people to still believe that you sitting here consuming something that came from a cow that was tortured to death his entire life. It was tortured. It was fed rotten candy, not fit for human consumption. They grind up dead pigs and feed them to the cows, and they stick them with a hormone and pus comes out with the milk, and then they string the cows up and slit their throat while they're alive. And you're really to sit there and drink a glass of milk that came from that type from that type of abominable situation. From an act of terrorism against God's creation, and then to think that that's going to do your bones healthy. That speaks to the fact that that's why they laughing at us, because we march around anytime something like I said, if a white police officer kills one of us, we march around and protest and put all our energy on that, and and you got out of the 500 black people that die every single day, 490 of those deaths come from the food. I mean, so when you're going by sheer numbers of what's killing black people, it's the food. It's food or medicine. Food or even if you go to the most violent crime, go to the inner city of Chicago in the worst possible neighborhood, and most of them still, the majority of what they dying of is heart disease, cancer, stroke, the kidney failure is high, and now we can't even, the recent mission that I'm on, sister and brother and family, is that now we can't even detach violence from the food, because the food is destroying brain function and perpetuating violence.
Yep, I agree. I definitely agree. I mean, especially with the sugar overload. I mean, you have the chemicals in the food, and then you have the highly addictive sugar, and then you add the vibrational music that's not music. I mean, whatever the sounds coming from the stereo or whatever. You add those things together, it's like, I don't even want to go outside, seriously, because when you, and then the alcohol and drugs, I mean, you put all these things together, I mean, it's really dangerous being outside. I mean, it really, really is. Robert, do you have any questions?
Yes, I do. So let's go back a little bit, because I was talking with the brother a couple of days ago on this subject of milk. And the brother said that there's a difference between the pasteurized milk and the non-pasteurized milk, as well as if you're dealing with like the I think they call it the Mormons, or what is the group?
The Amish. The Amish. And then another term they used was raw milk. Now, are you familiar with those? Now, because I know there's some people that may be listening that may say, well, I was told that if I drank raw, unpasteurized milk or whatever, that milk is better, especially if it came from not the commercialized forms, but if it came from a more holistic type of raising of the cattle. Right. They're dead wrong. And here's why. We are completely detached from the fact that our health is dependent upon the amount of micronutrients we consume per calorie. So food is our medicine. Food is what's supposed to keep us strong, avoid all of these.
Nathaniel, we can't hear you.
Okay, wait. Yeah, I thought that was me.
Oh.
Yeah, we kind of hear you.
Okay.
Okay, we hear you now. Okay.
Okay, you can hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, so where did I leave off on? I think
they were dead wrong. They're dead wrong because of the micronutrients.
Right. Our food is supposed to give us the medicines that we need to avoid heart disease, cancer, diabetes, and all these other diseases destroying our people. Now, food is supposed to give us two things, macronutrients and micronutrients. Macro means big, and that's protein, carbohydrates, and fat. That's where we get our calories. Okay. However, food is supposed to give us micronutrients, vitamins, minerals, fiber, and plant chemicals. There's over 20,000 of them that are very critical for our health survival. And that's the problem with the standard American diet. We eat whenever we consume loads of protein or loads of carbs or loads of fat without those natural micronutrients that's supposed to come with the food, we become fat, we become sick, and, you know, we have the cancers and all of these disease epidemics. So so if we want to reverse all of these diseases and become a strong, healthy, mentally able people, we have to focus on only eating foods that are very high in those natural medicines, vitamins, minerals, and plant chemicals. That will push you all the way to the plant kingdom, which are the foods that we're supposed to be eating anyway. Those are the, you know, most of the foods. If you go to the, you know, in Africa, the populations in Africa that live, you know, the longest, that's because they eat the foods in that region that grows from the earth. You know, that's in any population. The people who live the longest, they eat mostly foods that come from the earth. Now, milk can fit that bill because an animal.
You say it again.
Cutting out a little bit.
Okay. Let me try to move here.
Okay, now we hear you.
Yeah, we're good.
You good.
You were about to say milk. Oh.
Yeah. So milk, when you understand that it is micronutrient deficiency that's killing us off, and we want to eat foods high in micronutrients, milk doesn't fit the mold. It's a disease-causing food because what's the purpose of consuming milk? What is it giving you? It's giving you a load of protein, but it's not giving you anything else. It's giving you a load of animal protein and saturated fat. It has no fiber, hardly any vitamins, no minerals, no plant chemicals. So it's just a load of protein. And that comes at a cost. That's cancer causing. Whenever we consume a bunch of animal protein without any other micronutrients that we could easily get if we got our protein from plants, it skyrockets a hormone called insulin-like growth factor 1. That's a hormone that is needed for child growth and child development. But when it stays too high in adults, it causes is one of the main hormones causing the breast and prostate cancer epidemics that, you know, the wicked for-profit cancer industry will never tell us about. So milk it's a low nutrient junk food. It doesn't matter if the cow ate a bunch of, you know, grass and, you know, lived the way that, you know, that God created a cow to live and eat. It doesn't matter. It's still a low nutrient junk food. And we're already fighting so much toxicity and so many, everything, you know, is trying to give our bodies cancer. So it is critical that, you know, every calorie we put in our mouths matter. And so every calorie we consume need to be as micronutrient dense as possible. And dairy is the worst possible to it, because when the milk 1,000 years ago, when the cow was being raised the way it was supposed to be, the only reason why the milk was somewhat okay to consume was because the milk it had a little bit of nutrients because the cow got it from eating the grass. And so we can bypass, you know, trying to, you know, getting our protein from a poor nutrient source like animal. We can just go straight to the source and get it from the plants, so that we not only get our protein, but we get everything else we need, you know, to win the war against all of these diseases created by the white man.
Now, the first time I heard somebody talk about the protein in animals was when I read a book called By Any Means Necessary, a revolutionary guide for Black women who want to eat great, get healthy, lose weight, and look fat. And the author's name is Tracy Lynn McWhirter. And she was talking about, you know, how people always say, well, if you're a vegan, where do you get your protein from? You know, right. She was explaining the only reason why you think you're getting the protein from the animal meat, it's because of the vegetables or plants that the animal ate. Why not just get it straight from the vegetable yourself? Why do you have to go through an animal to get what you need? It doesn't make sense at all.
Right, yeah. But once again, it's an information gap. It's a knowledge gap, you know, that's missing there. And whenever information is given, there's a systematic effort to make sure that, we're the last ones to get to everybody else, at least they getting the trickling of the information. But for some reason, we 20 steps behind, understanding that protein originates from plants and that milk don't make your bones strong. That's nonsense. It actually, the countries that consume the most milk has the highest rates of osteoporosis. Osteoporosis is an epidemic in this country, and people eat a boatload of milk and dairy with everything, and they still fall and shatter their hips in their 60s and 70s.
Mm-hmm. So if a person is trying to get calcium, we should not be having dairy products. So what leafy green vegetable does provide the best source of calcium, in your opinion?
Well, the dark leafy green ones are the dark leafy green vegetables give you everything. Those are the super foods. It's like taking, it's like 20,000 different nutrients in a single leaf of kale or broccoli or, spinach, So bok choy is extremely high in calcium. As are all the dark leafy green vegetables. Bok choy especially, for some reason, that bok choy is like 1,200 milligrams of calcium, per serving. So that's a part. Bok choy is a part of the cabbage family. Mm-hmm. So cabbage and all the leafy green vegetables give you plenty of calcium, along with nuts and seeds and all the other plant. But green leafy vegetables, and that's why you should be eating a large salad every day. That's the main rule. Only 5% of all Americans, this is all races put together, only 5% of a nation of 300 million people eat what the government recommends that we should be eating on a daily basis. That is, I really want people to think about this. We're talking about a government that counts ketchup, French fries, and pizza as a part of their servings, for their recommended servings for fruits and vegetables. So they count that, but yet, even with counting French fries and pizza, only 5% of 300 million people eat 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. Mm. And if you break that down by race, I'm pretty sure where we would stand. If you go, the diet, sometimes I go, just like I health coached, someone, a few weeks ago. Not a single percentage I could add up from fruits and vegetables, especially, green leafy vegetables. Mm-hmm. You couldn't design a better diet to kill people, if the devil himself created it.
Mm-hmm. That's really sad. Robert, did you have something to say on that?
Yeah, I wanna swing this in another direction because I know what time it's up. Yeah. So this is the question I have. First, I'm gonna say something about a store that was here in St. Louis. It was yours, Market. Brother Anthony Shahi owned this grocery store.
Wait, Robert, are you talking away from the? I can't hear you.
No, you can't hear. Okay.
I can hear you now.
Is this better?
That's
okay, good.
Better.
So the grocery store, yours grocery store, was a store set up to not go mainstream with all the products that most of the other stores was carrying. They were supposed to be more organic and more more natural, organic type of foods. And it was 2 doors down the street from me on Broadway in Bay. But that store, that idea, that concept, for whatever reason, didn't work. Now, my point where I'm trying to go is in terms of an economic type of opportunity for people who want to or have entertained the idea or the thought. I've even entertained the idea of opening up an organic store where the prices are compatible to a Schnucks regular vegetable price, and it can easily be done. But for the people that's in the listening audience who really are excited and enthused but don't know how to make the connection with how do I take this idea, this thought, this knowledge, and create a stream of income in an environment that really may not support the whole organic, healthy lifestyle because of what mainstream has done when it comes to eating healthy. It costs much more. How do you transition people into first becoming an entrepreneur in this field, which is definitely needed, and then, you know, the people creating a business where the people can come and actually shop and get a lesson? Because I always used to say Anthony should be teaching people that's on cigarettes, have a NA or AA or some type of meeting inside the store, but I'm not going to go there. So how do we reach the people? How do we, what do they have? What incentive do they have to choose this as a lifestyle that can actually pay the bills, and what method should they take to do that?
Yeah, that's a great question. I know, you know, there's a brother named Jabron Burchett with Hosco Foods USA. Now, he would be the expert on, he's trying to open up a grocery store. He's a farmer. He's a black farmer, and he's not the only one. And we need to start supporting them. A lot of them are connected to an organization called Solidarity Economy. And we have Red Circle, nonprofit organization. I'll be speaking at their meeting next week concerning how food destroys the brain. We have black farmers, but like you said, so they will have a lot more expertise, because my specialty is disseminating the knowledge that motivates people to want to choose the healthier foods. And so they like Jabron, you know, he be the master. He knows how to grow the food. He knows how to make it cheap, especially in Red Circle organization, a Red Circle for Life organization. They're already doing that. They're already providing in our communities, and other, you have Tilly's Corner in North City, St. Louis, with the community garden and the health store. So we already have established black-owned businesses that are trying to get plenty of black vegan chefs, you know, that know how to make vegan soul food, and it tastes delicious. And I know a lot of them. The problem is the knowledge. You know, that to me, that is the most important. So what I'm saying is that, and it don't have to be me. It could be anybody. But just using me as an example, if I could address the entire black community in St. Louis, everybody, if I got that chance, like at the Sister Strut event, I tried my best. I spoke at a few breast cancer support groups, and the sisters loved it so much. They gave me the top number at iHeartRadio to get in front of the stage. They wouldn't let me do it. But if I had that opportunity for 30 minutes to get on that stage to 5,000 of our sisters and tell them that everything they believe about breast cancer is a lie, that we already have the cures in the food and you're being hoodwinked and bamboozled, it would have started a revolution. Not that all of them would have changed, but they all would have got the truth, and then enough of them would have been inspired to want to change to where the other ones will follow along, because all you need is 10% to change. So it's the knowledge. That's the problem, is that, you know, like you said, if you got a Red Circle, like Jerron, when he opens up his grocery store, huge, beautiful grocery store with all these fruits and vegetables, he does it now. He's able to provide our people with access to healthy foods. But what is going to make someone, if somebody doesn't have the knowledge, they're not going to drive past KF Death Shack and go to Jabron's store and get a salad. That's not going to do that, because a salad, the food, KF Death Shack, I mean, that's like snorting crack cocaine when you eat that food. It's not even real food. It's a drug. Mm-hmm. You know, so it's the knowledge. People need knowledge. So, you know, I'm a huge proponent of adequate knowledge. Give people the full information, and enough of them will change. And that's why the drug industry they would rather kill me and my whole family before they would ever let me, be able to speak before a vast audience, of our people to tell them the truth.
Right. Well, now, so this brother Gibran, I've never heard of him. I mean, that doesn't mean anything. I've never heard of him, but I definitely would like to make sure that we learn of his location and shop with him versus running the Whole Foods, because I'm at Whole Foods every other day, or the Golden Grocer, I'm there every other day. I mean, because we do eat organic. I don't buy conventional fruits and vegetables. I mean, that's what we do. So if there is something that we don't know about, we definitely need to make sure that we are supporting that Black business.
And especially those farmers, if they're local, the Black local farmers here that you may know of, we need to drop names. We need to put them out there. We need to work with them. I got a retail space right now that I'm looking for a great business to be able to come in. I want something organic, though. I wanted to do a grocery store myself, and I just kind of decided I'm gonna bag out of it. But what I'm committed to do with this space is make the rent so cheap, but based on the pricing of the if you know somebody that want to come in, and if they can promise our people the same pricing that they would get for the conventional type of groceries, vegetables, fruits and vegetables, if they would promise them a lower price than that, I would commit to making the rent so cheap that business can't fail. I would be committed to making sure that the business itself don't fail, because I would rather have something that's organic in this neighborhood and give the people a healthier choice. But our people are driven by price. That's when it all boils down, and it ain't just our people. People, period, today in 2017 going into 2018, most people are driven by price. And I was just listening to
brand names too.
Yeah, how to sell the Negro, and that's us. We just, I mean, we had a customer today and came in for some pods, and oh my God, I didn't even say nothing. I just let them walk on out. I didn't even want the money, but I am so committed to helping and doing all that I can do on a real estate part of it, because I know this for a fact, is that our businesses don't
You're
stay
sounding
in business.
a little far away again. A little far away.
Okay. So like I was saying, I know this for a fact. Our businesses don't stay in business because, one, they don't own the real estate. Two, they don't know how to get the product direct. And when you don't own the real estate, your rent and your overhead is very high. So by me being in a position, I do teach how to buy the real estate, create mortgages. I do teach that, and I don't have a problem with sharing that information. But however, this building that I'm in right now would make a great store. Broadway is one of the I can't say one of, it is the busiest street in St. Louis. I mean, the traffic down here is crazy. They're actually turning this 2-lane into a 1-lane, which is going to really make the traffic crazy. And so I'm standing outside and I'm thinking to myself, wow, this is going to be a great location for a store. So I'm shooting that out there to you, brother. If you have any business ideas or know anybody that may want to do a grocery store, the opportunity is there. I am flexible when it comes to working with serious entrepreneurs coming into this building that may want to do something. I'm very flexible with serious entrepreneurs and people that really, like yourself, really know your craft. You know your business. I'm listening to you, and I'm like, wow, yeah, this is a guy that you can call and say, hey man, what do you think about this veggie here or this ingredient here? So give that some thought, man. If you know some people, share it with them, because the opportunity is here. And I want to see that type of environment throughout the whole city of St. Louis.
Well, let's go ahead and let everybody know that's listening. You're listening to Blacks in Business Radio, and we're on Black Talk Radio Network. If you would like to enter into the conversation, you can unmute yourself by pressing, what is it, pound? No, star. It's star. Star. Yeah, that's been so long since I said that. You can unmute yourself by pressing star, because we would love for you to enter into this conversation. Talk to us about your health journey or whatever it is that you might be going through. I'm sure you're going through something that you might want to address with Brother Nathaniel, and I'm sure he can help you out. Now, Brother Nathaniel, you have the ability to train and coach. So how would someone begin? I mean, like if I'm a person that just goes to McDonald's and I went to the doctor and he told me my LDL level is through the roof and I'm hypoglycemic and just all these things that they throw out that people really don't even understand. What could I do? Like if you're saying that you can help me, how do we go about doing this?
Well, you should, you can contact me you can go to my website, theministerofwellness.com, and on my website I list, all the services that I offer. I also have several books, ebooks from my full presentations on preventing and reversing these diseases. So I have plenty of books on my website, all theministerofwellness.com. And then if you use that same title, I'm pretty much the only one of wellness. So if you put it in YouTube, my channel will pull up, and I got over 100 videos, as you saw, in great detail. Now I'm going over diabetes. I did 5 parts on cancer. I did 6 parts before that on heart disease. So, but again, my videos is not, for now, is not reaching the audience that it needs to. But I have over 100 videos, the Minister of Wellness, or you could call me at 314-443-8441. And, if you're able to invest, I do health coach for the rest of this year. My weekly plans are only $75, and my consultations are a few hours long because I don't let the person leave until they understand every single thing that's going on with their body and how it relates to diet and lifestyle. So that is good, is, take the opportunity to do one of those consultations with me throughout the rest of this year. For those who don't want to do a whole week, the price is only running $50. So I help coach people one-on-one. But again, I have my ebooks. Also, I have a few hard copies of my books for a little bit higher price. But anything you pay towards, and I'm a 501c3 ministry, and I did that intentionally so that when people do invest in their health, you can get it back because you can write it off on your taxes. Anything, books, services, anything that you pay towards me goes towards the ministry.
Well, let me let you know, if you need video distribution, you can get that on Black Talk Radio Network for only $10 a month. I will have you contact Brother Scotty Reed, who is our engineer and the creator of Black Talk Radio Network, if you're interested.
Thank you, sister.
Okay, no problem. Now, Brother Robert, I think he was talking before, saying he wanted to take some boxing classes or train. So what if he wanted to do that? How would he get in touch with you to do that? Is it the same thing? He needs to go to your website and sign up?
Well, yeah, when I was training, I'm a strength trainer. So I'm not a traditional personal trainer. So I'm sorry, Brother Robert, I wouldn't be able to get you in shape to fight Sugar Ray Leonard. I'm a strength trainer, so I build people up in the area of strength. And my gym, because you need, I do barbell strength training. So I tell people, like my 67-year-old mom, she came to me about a year ago. She had debilitating arthritis in her knee. Doctor wanted to send her to a therapist. She said, no, my son can help me. So she came, she saw her following the plan. lost 40 pounds, reversed arthritis, reversed it. And now she's the strongest 67-year-old, 100. She got all the way back down in her 20s, so she's only about 125 pounds now. And she's the strongest in her weight class. She can squat more than her body weight now. And if she would compete, she would win all the competition. There's nobody in her age where she'd have to compete on the world level to find a woman her age at her weight that will be able to lift more than her. So that's what I do. In my gym, unfortunately, I'm all the way down here, way deep, South City, St. Louis. So anyone who wants to get stronger, you'd have to contact me at 314-443-8441, but you would have to be willing to travel where I'm at because my gym is here in South City, St. Louis.
Well, I'll say this. You know what? If they get sick and they're believing in traditional medicine, I bet they have to travel for that. So why not travel to get healthy? I mean, I always say if you got a car, it's not too far. So if you people need some help, which you do, everybody does, everybody needs a consultation on health and wellness. I would say contact Brother Nathaniel. I mean, get it going. The time is now. I was listening to your video and it was like, it kind of slapped me. It was like you were saying, we have spent too much time, like basically eating bad food and the party time is over or something, and it's true because I talk to so many people because it's almost Thanksgiving. I hear a lot of people really trying to become vegan and bless their heart. They're really trying to become vegan, but they keep telling me, well, after Thanksgiving, or if I get through Thanksgiving, and it's like, how would they really do that? I heard you say in your video, take your food or eat your food before, eat your food before. So then you're not having that issue. Let me see. I don't know what that is. Somebody trying to speak, area code 717.
How about you, my sister? How are you this evening?
Oh, it's Brother Davis. How are you?
I am superb, as usual. I was just catching the back end of your show tonight. I had some business, and I said, let me turn on and see what's going on. Black Talk on my way back to the city. And the show is definitely interesting, but I do want to ask, you had mentioned about people going vegan and that sort of thing. Brother, and you're educating them about diet, do you give them the understanding of how the food system has been hijacked and a lot of the disease today are coming from the new manufacturing of the foods that are literally made available through the grocery stores?
Yeah, I talked about and thank you for calling in, brother. Pleasure to speak with you. But yes, sir, if you had been able to listen to the whole thing, I talked about that extensively. The processed foods and the junk foods. Again, there's a systematic, intentional. There's an intentional plot at work by the food and medical industries to exterminate black people. They're trying to depopulate everyone, but they're trying to exterminate the black race, the African people, and so they're doing it through the food and medicine, and it's most efficiently done that way because they've created the foods to where they're so addicting that our people will rather kill themselves than to address this monster and to change that. We rather focus on, what the police is doing instead of focusing on the fact that more black people die every 15 days from heart disease, from overeating, the devil's foods than were lynched by the Ku Klux Klan from 1882 to 1968. That's just heart disease. That's just one disease. And that, the amount of violence and anger that we see in our youth, that even a lot of that has to do with brain damage, so absolutely, the foods, these food, they're not even foods, they're Franken foods.
Right.
You're absolutely right. And one of the reasons I bring this up is because our people fail to realize that we are being marketed to on every level in reference to how we spend our dollar. And they do not do the due diligence that requires them to make a smart spend, meaning that if they go out, they don't plan their day, and before you know it, they're trickling money off in the areas that are destructive to them because it might be an appetite or they're hungry or they see something and realize that it's something that they desire to have. They don't need it. They just desire to have it. A perfect example is a lot of people don't realize that food is marketed to them by the color of the wrappers. And that's why a lot of these fast food places are yellow and orange and red and blue, because these are colors that lure you in. And I just wanted to add that because literally I think that our black people, our brothers and sisters, victimize themselves by not realizing that they're being marketed to. They're being studied and finding their short, what they call the short dynamic of choice. So before you know it.
Wait, Brother Davis, on that note, we've got to take a commercial break. You're listening to Black Talk Radio Network, and we are BIB Radio. We'll be back after these messages. The Black Talk Media Project funds the use of new media technology in efforts to restore independent black voices to the myriad of issues affecting Afro-descendant people all over the planet. If media can control the minds of the masses, as Malcolm X once said, then you must ask yourself, who is in control of the media targeting the masses of black people today? Help bring back independence, self-determination, and respect for black culture in the production of global media by joining the effort to crowdfund new black media for the new millennium.
You are tuned in to the Black Talk Radio Network. For podcasts and live program scheduling, visit us on the web at blacktalkradionetwork.com.
All right, everybody, welcome back to Blacks in Business Radio. We are talking to the Minister of Health, Mr. Nathaniel Jordan. And we also have Brother Davis with us. I am one of your hosts, Cece Harry, and we also have the other host, Brother Robert 11X. I'm sorry, I have a cat on my lap walking around. So we are really getting into this health situation. Brother Davis, we are going to kind of shore this up. Brother Nathaniel, are you going to stay with us as we talk about our next topic, or are you going to have to go?
Oh, I'm going to have to go. I got to go tend to the little ones. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Well, let us know one more time how people can reach out to you and connect with you so that they can get more information about what it is that you can do for them, okay?
Yes, ma'am. My website is theministerofwellness.com. Theministerofwellness.com. My YouTube channel with over 100 videos going over the cures for all the diseases is The Minister of Wellness. The Minister of Wellness. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm on Facebook, Nathaniel Jordan, at Ministry, at The Minister of Wellness. You put in The Minister of Wellness in a web page, and I'm going to pop up. And then you can also call me directly at 314-443-8441. I have a very few hard copies left of my book. I helped a brother lose 100 pounds in 100 days. I only got 2 copies left. My reverse diabetes book, I only have about 3. And then my heart disease book, I only have 4. So you'll have to call me at 314-443-8441 if you want one tonight, because when my Baruti airs on Sunday, I'll probably end up selling out on those, and I won't have any in stock for a while.
Well, that's a good thing. Well, we definitely appreciate you coming in and talking with us. We will look forward to speaking with you again soon and working with you to create better health and wellness for our people. Thank you again for joining us on Blacks in Business Radio. We'll talk to you again soon, okay?
My pleasure. Thank you all, family. Yes, yes, sir.
Have a great night. All right, everybody. That was the minister himself talking to us about health and wellness. And, you know, again, I'm just so refreshed that like he's like all the way there. He's not telling us to eat yogurt and all this other stuff that is very counterproductive. So Robert, what did you think about that interview?
Well, first of all, I watched the video 2 days ago, and I was like, wow, my man knows his stuff, you know. And then I immediately shared. I actually started watching it, and I couldn't stop watching it. And so, you know, I didn't watch it live because he did a live feed, but I started commenting on the video, and then later on in the evening, I saw where he, you know, acknowledged the comments and liked the comments and then commented on it. And so I shared the brother in Blacks in Business # St. Louis, Missouri on Facebook. So if you guys, I mean, outside of what he just gave you the information to find him, he is on BIB, I say Blacks in Business, # St. Louis, Missouri. But this information, family, is definitely what we need. A lot of what's going on in these streets, as the brother said, is diet-based. A lot of it is what you consume, what we consume. A lot of the emotional turmoil, a lot of the emotional stress that we go through comes from a lack of knowledge. But on top of that, it is what is being consumed, accompanied with a lack of knowledge, a lack of know-how, a lack of how to get out of the situation financially we in. So we eat. We just eat and eat and eat, and it's fast food, and it's food from service stations, food from KFC. That's killer fried chicken. You know,
right? Well, he actually has a fundraiser here, so we want to make sure that we, you know, you guys join him on Facebook. I do see here where he is, I guess, always talking to Zaki Baruti. I have no idea. I mean, I don't know, but yeah. So we have our next guest there, right? We have our next guest there, but before we move forward, I want to make sure that I mention the book that I'm going to be reading for the book club. If you haven't joined a book club, people, you should do that because it will encourage you to read. I know we're so busy, but you're not so busy that you can't take some time out to read. You've got to read. That is how you grow. That's how you grow your brain, and brain cells don't die. I saw a study on that today. And they say if you read nonfiction, it's actually even more, it helps you advance even more. I don't know. I really don't like nonfiction. But the book that I'm reading for the book club, it's called Black Man in a White Coat, A Doctor's Reflection on Race and Medicine by Damon Tweedy, MD. Now, of course, we have our opinion about doctors. I mean, doctors are not important, but at the same time, we have to watch how much credence we give to doctors and the science that they have created that have in turn turned around and killed us. But this is a book from a Black doctor, and I want to read some of the book. It's page 210. Again, the book is called Black Man in a White Coat. The choices that we make have a profound impact on our health. Sometimes it's a single simple decision, wearing a seatbelt or a condom at a given moment, for instance, that can give a far-reaching consequence. More often, though, it's a daily decision repeated over time that catches up with us. Smoking cigarettes, abusing alcohol or drugs, eating too much and too many bad foods, and exercising too little all can lead to an array of disease. Of the 10 leading causes of death in America, among them heart disease, cancer, stroke, and diabetes, each is strongly influenced by our actions. Researchers from the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation and a New Jersey-based philanthropic organization devoted to health and healthcare estimated that behavioral choices account for at least 900,000 deaths each year and represent the greatest single domain of influence on the health of the U.S. population. That's pretty serious. You know, so if you are listening to this program and you are waiting for Turkey Day to end, or you're waiting for your New Year's resolution, I have to ask you, my goodness, how many years are you going to go through this? You know, and it's sad to say, you know, we think that people, when they're diagnosed with cancer or something, that's when they change their life. It's just absolutely not true, because I've seen people with cancer smoking through their neck. So the time is now. What is that quote? The time to prepare is when there's peace, something like that. I saw it yesterday. So while there's nothing going on in your body that you know of, this is the time to prepare. Because if you do get sick, you have a better chance to fight off that disease because you have cleansed your body, you have started eating better, you've started exercising and all that. But if you keep drinking the alcohol, popping the pills, the Xanax or whatever the doctor tells you that's okay, keep poisoning yourself with the fast foods, what kind of chance does your body have when you get the disease? I'm not going to say when you get the disease, because there's going to be something that they diagnose you with, even if it's something like arthritis. I mean, you got what? Arthritis, cancer, and everything in between. So the time to heal your body is now. Seriously, this is an entrepreneurial show, but how do you become an effective entrepreneur if your mind is not right, because it's so bogged down by sugar and junk food? How do you make proper decisions for your family? You know, how do you teach your family anything about anything if your mind is not right? You know, and I said before, you got to stop comparing yourself to grandma and grandpa having 10 Pepsis a day and they did just fine. You don't need to do that, because that's not you. This is a different day and a different time, and you're a different person. So the time is now to get it together for your health. Okay, so our next guest is from the Land of KUSH. His name is Brother Gregory Brown, and he is out of Maryland. And his wife, Nigel, couldn't join us today, but it's okay, because I'm sure Brother Greg will tell us everything that he needs to tell us about his establishment. So let's let him on the show right now. Greetings, Brother Greg. Are you there? Or did I just mute him? Okay. Are you there, Brother Greg?
I'm here.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining us today. We so appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Okay. So tell us about you, your wife, and your wonderful vegan, or is it vegan or vegetarian restaurant?
Oh, it's 100% vegan.
Okay. 100% vegan. All right.
Yeah, so, again, my name is Greg Brown. My wife's Naja Wright Brown. We both own a restaurant in Baltimore called the Land of KUSH. And like you alluded to, it's a 100% vegan restaurant. We do a vegan soul food cuisine, so vegan barbecue rib tips, smoked collard greens, candy yams, vegan mac and cheese. We do smoothies. We do juices. We do the best salads on the planet, raw kale salad, raw carrot tuna salad. So we've had our establishment for, it'll be 7 years in January, and we're looking to grow. We're continuing to grow. We're looking to help the community kind of think differently about their food choices, like you were talking to just a few minutes ago.
Absolutely. Now, let me ask you, what led you down this path of wanting to open this type of restaurant? Because it is clearly not really popular in our communities.
That's true. I was a vegan, and I was working somewhere that I didn't want to work. I was working at a call center, and I didn't like it. I was looking for something to do, and what happened? An elder came to me while I was at work. He came to me and stopped me in the middle of work and said, "You need to write down your questions for God, listen for the answers, and write down the answers." And so she had me shook. She had me in the middle of the call center floor at work, grown man pouring tears down my face, because she reminded me of my grandmother who had recently passed a few years earlier, and she just had some energy about her, and she just came to me out the blue. And so I started doing that. I started writing down these questions I had for God and listening for the answers, and then writing down the answers. And in the process of doing that, I came up with the idea that I wanted to own my own restaurant. And since I was vegan, why not a vegan restaurant? And so that's how the whole thing started.
Wow. Now that is amazing because the foundation of all of this is God, and most people don't talk about that. Most people just, they hopped in and boom, there they are, but there's a similarity there between what you're doing and what Brother Nathaniel has going on too. His foundation of starting his business was God too. So since you started with God, I'm sure your business is flourishing.
It absolutely is. That is true. God has definitely blessed us tremendously. I mean, the business is flourishing. We're looking to grow the business. We're actually looking for a second location and then possibly to franchise the business. So we'll see how that goes. But, yeah, God has definitely blessed us, and God has worked with me every step of the way, even in meeting my wife. Like I met my wife at this other job that I ended up going to so I could get some money to open a restaurant. And when I saw my wife, I said to myself, she is beautiful. I want to talk to her. And God said no.
She is beautiful.
No, she is beautiful. She's the light of my life, her and my daughter. But when I saw her, God was like, nah, don't talk to her. Only say hi and bye. You're at this job to get money so that you can open this restaurant, and that's what it's all about. And so I didn't talk to her. All I said was hi and bye for about 5 months. And then she plopped down in my cubicle one day, and she said, do you want to go out for your birthday? And then I had to ask God again. I was like, hey, she came to me. I didn't go to her. She came to me. God was like, all right, it's time. It's time, move forward. And so that's how our relationship jumped off, and we've been rocking ever since for the past 11 years.
Wow, that is amazing. I mean, I don't even know how I became friends with you all on Facebook, but I don't know. I have a couple people out there in Maryland that I'm connected with. Minister Asar.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Good brother. Yeah, he's been supportive of our restaurant, him, Brother Sankofa, that whole crew. They've been supportive of our restaurant since we opened, since almost day one since we've been here. They've been, very supportive of everything that we've done. So, yeah, I know Minister Asar very well.
That's a blessing.
Fact, the funny thing is he went to high school with my cousin, and I didn't even realize it until, years after we opened the restaurant, and my cousin happened to see a picture of him on our Facebook page or something like that, and she was like, you know him, and that whole thing. So, that's how strong the family is.
So she was like, that's Dennis.
Yeah. Yeah, you know how that go,
Right.
People know your government for, you still got those people out there that know your government name, not your ascended name. So, but it's all good. It's all love.
Right. It is all love. Robert, you have some questions?
I'm sitting over here just with a Kool-Aid smile. I love to hear stories like this, man. 11 years in, successful business, man. I salute you all. Take my hat off to you, brother. Much love, much respect, and just keep on doing, man. That's all I can. I'm just smiling because I'm happy for you, brother.
Oh, thank you, brother. I appreciate that.
Now, tell us, what is it that you do in the area? I mean, because a lot of entrepreneurs have trouble with, knowing who to hire. So you clearly have an establishment that you've had to hire some people, and I'm sure you've had some ups and downs. And, as you're looking to expand and looking to franchise, what advice would you give to those entrepreneurs looking to hire people? How do you do that?
You have to keep an open mind. I mean, black people, we want to hire our people. I mean, we should look to do that. But you have to keep an open mind, with when you're just hiring, you're not just hiring somebody, you're training and possibly helping to raise somebody. When they say that it takes a village to raise a child, that's a very real thing. And this is part of the village, is the business aspect of it. I definitely have some people that have been with me for a period of time, some young people that I got almost out of high school. One of them was in high school. And, like one young man, his father, is not really in his life, like that. So, I become like a surrogate father. Not to say I'm trying to replace his father, but I become that. But, we specifically look to try to get those people that may not have an opportunity out there, or other people can't see their potential because all they see is young and black, and all they see is what the stereotype is based on social media or what's on TV or what they see on the news or something like that. So we try to grab those type of people and say, okay, I see the potential in you, and I know how to bring out that potential because I am that. I'm that young black man that, that walked down the street with a hoodie. I was that person standing on the bus stop singing my raps, that probably looked kind of strange to the general public. I was that person. So I understand that, and I try to bring that potential, whatever they have inside them, I try to bring it out so that they can really see, like, okay, I don't have to keep this sheltered. I can be the person that, I kind of visualize myself as, and, we try to help them grow. And so we go out there and hire people that, that really want to get it, that are leaders. We try to make leaders out of people that come to work for us.
Well, do you have a certain feeling that you have when you meet a certain young person that just has that potential? Because, I asked this question because, we come across young people all the time. And of course, we want to make them into what we want them to be, For instance, there was a young lady that came in today to the flea market, and she was on her phone, and I thought she was coming to shop. She said, "Do y'all have some applications?" And I was like, "Applications for what?" She said, "Well, to work here." And I was like, "Work where?" Like, it was so, I didn't understand exactly, where did she want to work? In the flea market? Did she want to work in our store? Where did she want to work? So I talked to her and, just got a kind of an idea of what she was going through, So, of course, I wanted to embrace her and take her in and, like, really help her. How do you do that? Like, do you, like, kind of vet the person out, or do you just bring them right on in?
No, you got to vet the person out because the person's energy has to be in line with your energy. And everybody's energy, like some people who own businesses, they come straight from the street, so they understand, they understand street kids. But like me, I know the streets, but I ain't come from the streets, right? So I don't, I can mix and mingle. Like, you got to be the right type. And I'm used to managing people, and so I know how to bring things out in people, but I do vet the personality, but it's got to be a matching personality. Like with my wife, I try to align young sisters with her. I try to align, women with her, because I can speak to women on certain things, but I'm giving you a man's perspective, right? But only a man can give you a certain perspective as a woman, but a woman can give you an entirely different perspective as a woman. And you need both, but it's got to be the right thing. And just like you did, she was in your energy, in your space for a reason. And then you broke it down. You know what I'm saying? Like, you filtered the energy and said, okay, let me see what's going on here and see what I can do for this person. And it may be that you can hire that person. Or it may be that you can point that person in a direction where that may be more beneficial to them. And so we have to, we got to learn to interpret that. We want to help everybody, but everybody's not, the perfect match. I can't bring in, I may not be able to bring in, the guy that may have spent some time in jail and he's really rough around the edges, or he's just coming off of a murder bid or something like that. That may not be my that might not be my line, but I know people who may be more in line that can handle that type of personality. So I may push that personality and say, like, go rap the so-and-so because they have a similar experience. It may not be the same, and it may not necessarily be that they murdered somebody, but they understand that personality a little bit better, and they can work with that energy and help that person grow and develop where, but I may be able to work with the the little drug dealer guy that just keeps getting in and out of trouble and doesn't know his potential, doesn't know how intelligent he really is. Like, I got a young man like that now, and we didn't even hire him at first. My wife interviewed him, and she told me about him, and he got fired from a job, and, he got in trouble in school, and he got into a big fight, and he got kicked out of school. And at first I was like, nah, that might not be the right person. But he was in Job Corps, and I ended up going to the Job Corps to this award ceremony, and he gave a speech there, and I was like, let me check him out. Let me check him out. And my wife came in, brought him back in for another interview, and I kind of rapped to him for a minute, and I felt his energy a little bit, and I said, okay, I'm gonna test him out and see what he's really about. And he's been with me for the past 3.5 years. He's been with me, and we're building him up to actually manage a store on his own because, our energy's connected. We vibe. He worked at, building himself. I saw the potential. I see the potential in the energy and how intelligent he is. He's one of the smartest brothers that I've ever met. He can do just about anything. He wasn't trained to cook, but he can cook anything. He can make salads. He's great with customer service. He can, he can do all these different. He's a handy guy. He can build things, put things together. So it's just all about feeling out the energy and matching it up with yours. As much as we want to help everybody, we have to know what's the right energy for us, because we can't overexert ourselves with someone who may not be the right energy for us because it may be draining. It's got to be beneficial on both sides, so that they're helping to build you up just as much as you're helping to build them up.
That's good advice. Now, I'll tell you what I did. Because I just really, I look at those as God opportunities, you know what I mean? And you don't know if you will ever see the person again. You just don't know. So I treated her as if she was coming to work with me. And it's not that she was dressed inappropriately, but I started talking to her about dressing when you go to work, how you're supposed to look, how you are with the customers. I was like, I was pouring into her right then and there, like she was just getting ready to come on the floor. I started talking to her about her home situation. She said, well, you know what? I have 2 siblings. Well, she didn't say siblings, but she's a brother and a sister, and I have to help my mom. I said, what do you mean? Does your mom work? She said, my mom works at the airport, but she really needs my help. And I was like, okay. So I know I have an event coming up Saturday. Would you like to come with me to that event so I can kind of see how you are with customers? She said, oh, yeah, I'll be there. So I told her, I said, this is the test. I said, now, if you get there, that's the first step. But if you don't get there, I will not call you. I will not hunt you down. I will not look for you. But I said, I want to help you. I said, whether it be here or somewhere else, I definitely want to help you because you came in here and you talked to me. So I definitely want to help you.
And that's what it's all about. You testing that energy, and that's what we do too. Is we test them out. We give you a shot. Like, hey, come on in. Let's see what you all about. Let's see if your game is real. Is it just talk? Are you just a trash talker on the court, or can you really hit this 3-point shot? And can you make this? Can you play a little defense? You can. Okay. Let's see what you're really about, and we test them each step of the way. And sometimes I tell them it's a test. A lot of times I don't even tell them it's a test because I want to see. I don't want you to know that it's really a test. I want you to feel it for yourself. I want to see how hungry you are and see what I'm really working with. But, you know, whatever works, because however the water flows, you know, like if that works, that works. If another strategy works, that works too. And that's kind of how we have to be about raising up our people. Like we trying to raise them up, but you know, it's a lot of factors that are in our way, and so it's a lot of work behind that. And we got to remember that it's a lot of work, and it's not, you know, a one-shot deal, and everything is not always the same. Every strategy doesn't work for the same person, you know, but we working at it, you know. So we try to hire people, we try to give them jobs, and we try to educate them at the same time. Like, we don't just put them to work and say, you're working here. We try to give them, you know, the experience that we got when we were in corporate America, or just throughout our lives. We try to give them that information and that knowledge, and make it plain face to them, so that they can take it back home and be like, let me think differently about how I'm working my life, like how I'm living, you know, just those type of things.
Well, let's take a quick commercial break so we can get into our last half hour. But you're listening to Black Talk Radio Network's BIB Radio. Support Black Talk Media Project.org. We'll be back after these messages. Brothers and sisters, I would like to invite you to join Every.Black, the premier digital marketplace and directory for Black businesses and entrepreneurs. Membership benefits include representation on 12 websites, 12 Facebook pages, and 12 Twitter accounts. Your company will also be featured in the monthly e-letter. Sign up today by typing in Every.Black. Use the discount promotional code SISI. For more information, call 253-343-7284. When it comes to promoting your business, remember Every.Black.
Make Black Talk Radio your choice for digital black radio. New black media for the new millennium.
All right, everybody, welcome to the last half hour of Blacks in Business Radio. We are here every Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, bringing you great entrepreneurs and great opportunities. I think, Brother Robert, I heard you trying to say something.
Yeah, I was just thinking about this whole hiring thing. One of the issues that, brother, again, I take my hat off to you, man. I appreciate, you know, the whole experience that you and your queen has gone through being entrepreneurs. I love these stories. But one of the things that we deal with here with the young men, man, and I meet some brothers, man, that they some great hustlers, and they're doing things. I'm watching them. I'm constantly watching them do things that could make them. They have the potential to be great businessmen. But this substance abuse thing, this marijuana, is really getting in the way of a lot of young brothers that I would love to just say, hey, man, let me pass this baton to you. I just told a brother this the other day. I said, brother, you right at the door. You doing all the things that you should be doing, but the one thing that is definitely a liability to someone like myself is the marijuana smoking. And I had to say this to a few different guys, and I don't know if that is an issue for you, because I just don't know how to even, you know, if it's possible. I haven't met anybody male-wise, young, that I can say, come on, let's go to work. You know, unless they're 8, 9, 10 years old, 11 years old, but then you can't leave them in the store by themselves. But anybody of age seems, black males that coming out of this marketplace that we're in seems to be on this marijuana kick, man, and it just, I don't know what to say about it.
Well, it's it's a drug epidemic right now, and that's what they're pushing for everybody. And it's not just the marijuana, it's the prescription pills and the opioid epidemic as well. We know it's been going on in our community for a long time. But that's the whole thing, is now because they tested the street drugs, right? Now they're trying to make everything legal because they want people to be high, because it's crazy out here. So they want people to be disillusioned and not really see what's in front of them. But that's a whole nother story. But but the thing is that, you know, what I try to talk to them about is decision making. It's like at some point in time, because I went through my own situation with smoking marijuana, and I had to cut it out. Like I had to take a step back and make decisions. But that's a personal journey, and so that's what I try to talk to them about is, you know, you got to make a better decision. You know, wherever you are, you might got to cut back a little bit or do things differently, because one of the things that I did was, what happened was I found a book. I found a book in my mother's basement on yoga, and I started practicing meditation. And I started practicing yoga, meditation, and, you know, I started to look at things a little bit differently and do different things, which conflicted with friends. And so then I had to determine, you know, okay, is it, you know, do I want to hang with my friends right now, or, you know, do I want to go off to the library, or do I want to spend time at this creek or at this stream just thinking about my life and how I can make things a little bit differently for me, because I don't like everything that's going on. I want to do something. I may not know what it is, but I want to do something. So those things, making those decisions, help lead you to the correct behavior. And that's part of it. So when I talk to them, I try to talk to them about decision making, and the responsibility is yours. We know the situation of systematic global white supremacy. We know that, but a lot of it falls into what decisions are we personally making? Are we allowing those traps to engage us and to hold us and to bind us, or are we going to make some strong decisions that may force us to, you know, hang around different people, or go to work, or to read a book, or to spend time at the library and to turn off the television, or just to spend some alone time and really try to figure things out, or to write. You know, a lot of these young men are into, you know, emceeing or rapping, but they do have a pen and a pad, or they got their phones and they are writing and they are expressing themselves. Now we got to make just look at it and have them try to make better decisions and try to put the onus, you know, in their pocket and say, like, yo, you can do whatever you want. You know, here are some examples of people who came from your situation, that came from the projects, that came from a poor situation, or a fatherless home, or a motherless home, or that came off a drug. Here's some real people in the community that did that and made something of themselves because of the decisions that they made. And so that's what I try to drive to the young people, is decision making. And I try to whoever I talk to, I try to be near them as much as possible, you know, because the more that they're around brothers like you and sister, the more they're around, you know, people like y'all, like, the more that they can get that information. And I'm not saying that they don't have to necessarily live with you or be around with you every day, but if they're in an environment where you can touch them every other day, or, you know, once a week or something like that, they keep seeing your face over and over again, and you get an opportunity to water the seed that you plant with that individual. So once we plant the seed and say, hey, you might want to cut that marijuana out, or you might want to at least cut it back some, or you might want to stay off the prescription drugs, or you might want to go meditate. Once we plant that seed one time, and then we have an opportunity to water it again, you know, we got to take advantage of that. And so, you know, I try to, you know, just be around people and just, you know, water that seed just a little bit, and not expecting, you know, everything to change in one moment, or even my expectation. I don't have an expectation. I just try to water the plant. You know, I try to water that seed and watch it grow and see what happens and see what we can do. But I try to really reinforce decision making and that the power is yours. It's not in my hands. It's not in the police hands. It's not in the school system's hands. The power is yours.
That is powerful, because with everything going on around them, for you to actually hand them the baton and say the power is yours, and then they see you every day, you're watering that seed every day. I mean, the potential to grow is great, you know, and I can think of a couple of people that we have around us like that. And, you know, you do want to see like some quick results, like, okay, I tell you, you need to do this, you need to do that. And you expect them to, you know, do it. But I mean, they're not going to necessarily do it. I mean, they're rebelling against their own parents. So for them to even allow you the time of day to speak to them, you got to consider that a privilege. And like you said, just continue to water that seed.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because I've been around people where, you know, like we oftentimes greet each other with peace or hotep. I greeted a brother one time with peace, and he said, I don't like y'all either, because y'all be full of it, you know. And it's like, okay, he's been corrupted by some people who came across with the peace and the hoteps, and you know, something happened, and that relationship went sour. And so it's like, okay, but we got to show and prove through our personality and our works that that we're real people. I don't try to force anything on anybody. I just try to show you who I am through my ways and actions.
That's right. Important. That's important. Now, how many children do you all have?
Oh, we just got one. We got a 5-year-old beautiful young daughter who enjoys climbing on her father's back and, you know, trying to, you know, convince me to play chess every night. She's into this chess mode, so I'm trying to water that seed, you know. I'm trying to water that. I love chess, and I think chess is important for the youth, but I try to let her, I don't try to force it, because she's a Capricorn. You can't force things on them Capricorns. You got to let them make their own, they're going to make their own way, you know, but I just try to show her things, and, you know, she's taking a chess right now. She's learning piano, you know, my baby. Yeah, we have a 5-year-old, all that.
Well, okay, so how is she involved in entrepreneurship? Does she come to the restaurant and help out?
So we live over top of the restaurant.
Okay.
And, yeah, so we live here. So the restaurant is our basement, essentially.
Okay.
And so she's involved in that, you know, every day. She helps me cook. Even when she was just an infant, even when she was a baby, you know, on her way to preschool, she, you know, before my wife would leave to take her, she would come into the kitchen when I was cooking, and she would jump in my arms, and she wants to help put the salt and pepper in there or help throw vegetables in the pan. She wants to do some little bit, and even to this day, like, she still does that. Like, if I'm cooking at home, she comes, she gets a little step stool, pulls right up to the stove, and she starts cooking. And she's starting to understand spices and herbs. She's starting to understand, you know, what vegetables we're dealing with. Okay, these are leeks, these are onions, these are garlic, these are carrots, these are broccoli, and then she wants to dig in and try to eat things. And so she's helping me experiment with recipes, and then she helps count money. Like, we went through the whole mathematics phase where she wanted to help me count money at the end of the night. So we went through, you know, counting by 5s, counting by 10s, counting by 20s. Well, I didn't do 20s. I did 2, you know, to make it a little easier for her. I did by 2, so 2, 4, 6, 8. You know, I would do things like that, and then counting by 1s. So she recognized the bills. She wants to count the coins. She's got her own register upstairs, so she wants to punch in her own numbers and add and subtract. She wants to go through those situations. So we're building the foundation of, you know, her understanding the business that we're in, and she understands the fact that we own the business. I mean, she came to me one day. She was like, Daddy, are you the boss of the restaurant? I said, yes, baby, yes. Me and Mommy, we're the bosses of the restaurant. And so, and now she goes to school and she tells people about the restaurant. And so now she's learning that aspect. And as she gets a little older, give her the opportunity to create her own business stream, her own business model. And, I want to see what ideas that she comes up with. So we're watering that seed once again.
That is excellent. Well, I'm glad to hear that you all have involved her at such a young age because, she can't help but open a business now. I'm excited to see what she's going to come up with.
Right. Like, that's the whole thing is letting her see, like, because she doesn't know anything else. She was born. She was born here. She was born in the building that the restaurant is in. She was born upstairs.
Wow.
So
she's all in.
She's all in. Like all she knows is the restaurant and the business. Like that's all she's known since her birth. The restaurant was running while she was coming out of the womb. So even from a spiritual, energetic standpoint, that's all she doesn't know about us going to work. She knows about us going to classes. She knows about us going to meetings. She knows about us working my wife does a lot of the marketing, but that's all, or she does the website and things like that. So we treat that as homework. That's homework for us. Or if I have to, update a spreadsheet or I got to do some bookkeeping, that's my homework. So she understands that each of us have our homework to do. And so she has her homework, Mommy has her homework, Daddy has his homework, but that's all she knows is that's it. She doesn't know about us going to a job. She knows about delivering food. She knows, Daddy went to go speak at Howard University with her Uncle Johnny. And so that's kind of the lifestyle that she knows. She doesn't know anything else, which is cool, which is definitely cool.
Right. That's such a blessing. Yes.
Brother, that's you hit on some points, man, that just are very solid to assure a win in being entrepreneurs. And my question is the building that you're in, is that a mixed use? Is it a commercial building / residential?
Yes, it absolutely is. So the person that rebuilt the building, because we got it, it was already done. But what happened was the gentleman, he tore down 2 row homes, put a restaurant on the bottom floor, and then built residential space over top. And basically, the residential space is 2 floors, but it's all one unit up there. And the owners of the building, they were like, well, look, we want somebody in here who's going to, really open a restaurant and live in the space upstairs, because they moved to California, and so that's what they were looking for. And so we just kind of fit that bill, and then that's what we were looking for. We wanted to live over top of the restaurant and work the restaurant at the same time. And so that's what we wanted. That's what they wanted, and it all fell into place. Like, the creator's plan really fell into place, and it's just amazing. It's amazing how it all happened, because me and my wife argued about spaces. I didn't even want to look at this space that we're in now, but because I honor and respect my wife so much, she was like, just look at the space, just go take a look. And it just turned out to be perfect. And when I told her about the living space, when I told her about the living space upstairs, I just told her, like, pack your stuff, we getting ready to move. I didn't even give her an option, because I knew she would like the space. I just knew just the way they set it up, and I want to say it was perfect. But it was perfect in God's way for us, and I don't know. I couldn't ask for anything else. I mean, it was there, it was ready, and it was go time. And so, even explaining it to my mother, like, my mother didn't want me to leave my cushy corporate job to open up a restaurant in the height of the recession, but this was something that I had been working on with the creator for so long, and my mother didn't even, like, I never expressed to her about that, but it was just something, personal that I was working with the creator to do this for so long that there was no other option. It was just like, here's the magic. Here's the spiritual energy brought into the reality. And it was just no other choice. It was just to make it happen. So it was righteous.
Mm. So I wanna offer you this. In the event that there's not a mortgage note on that property that you have, that you're in, I can help you. If you don't already have that in place, I can help you maneuver into a mortgage, actual purchase, if it's not already in place. That's something that I know how to do. And I would definitely. Go ahead.
I would love that.
Good, brother. See, I'm listening to you, and I know that you're in a winning position. First, you and your wife are entrepreneurs together. That's number one. Second, you brought your daughter. That's all she knows. It's not like your wife works somewhere else on a job and then you doing. So that's the second win. Third, when you said that you live over the restaurant, I'm sitting here. I was just saying to myself, if he could just see my smile, because I've never went out and purchased residential property. I've always purchased buildings like what you're in right now. We're sitting in a building. We're actually doing this interview in a building just like that. 3-bedroom apartment upstairs, storefront downstairs.
That's beautiful.
These type of yes, sir. You get more bang for your buck. That's the number one thing. These type of deals, brother, hear me out, are the easiest deals to make go through, because the banking system wants you to have greater than perfect credit to buy commercial property. Therefore, the owners, if they're willing to sell, and you can convince them that they should sell it to you, you can convince them by understanding the numbers that the same numbers that the bank create is the same numbers I can show you that you can create, and then how to properly word it to present it to the people that are currently involved on the other end, and show them how much more that they will win if they created a mortgage versus a leasing or renting situation, brother. And I want to show you that. I'm telling you, I know this thing works real well. So,
okay,
brother,
I'm all for it.
We definitely. I'm gonna get your number. CC has your information. I'm pretty sure you're gonna give the people your information before we get off there. But definitely, brother, I salute you and your family. You're doing a wonderful thing, reaching out to the young brothers and sisters in the community. That's what entrepreneurship is all about. People say it's about a lot of people get into it thinking it's just about the money. The money comes over time, but the greatest reward is looking at a young brother or sister and seeing their life transformed. 20 years later, they marry or own businesses or own real estate because you was the primary influence in that person's life. And now they see you and they want to hug you and thank you and tell their wives and their significant others who you were to them. That's the greatest reward for me in entrepreneurship, brother.
Absolutely. You're absolutely 100% right.
Okay, so let's go ahead and let the folks know how they can get to the Land of KUSH, where it is exactly, the address, the phone number, the email address, and all that good old stuff, so we can wrap up here, guys.
Sure. The Land of KUSH, we're in Baltimore, Maryland, 840 North Utah Street. That's spelled EUTAW. Zip code is 21201. We're open 7 days a week, 11 to 9 Monday through Saturday, 10 to 8 on Sundays. We're on Facebook. You can find us, The Land of KUSH. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on Twitter. You can find me personally on Instagram at Chef G Brown. So come look us up. I mean, we're here. We're open 363 days out of the year. So definitely come see us. The only days we're closed is Thanksgiving and Christmas, and we still working even though on those days. So you know how that go. But yeah, but definitely come see us anytime.
All right. Well, brother, thank you for joining us on Black Talk Radio Network. You are welcome back at any time to let us know of any upcoming developments that you would like to announce on the air. We would also like to offer you the opportunity to have your own radio show or podcast if you like. So reach out to us if that is something that you would like. We also do commercials. So again, thank you for joining us on Black Talk Radio Network, BIB, Blacks in Business Radio, and we will talk to you again soon. Thank you, everyone that has tuned in today. I hope you enjoyed and will share with your friends and family. Join us next week at the same time, 7 o'clock p.m. on Thursdays for Blacks in Business Radio. Good night, everybody.